Did you know you might be owed money just for buying bread? A $500 million settlement is now open, and if you bought packaged bread in Canada between 2001 and 2021, you're likely eligible. You can file at canadianbreadsettlement.ca or at quebecbreadsettlement.ca if you lived in Quebec on December 31st, 2021. The deadline is December 12th, 2025. You don't need a receipt. The process accepts a sworn declaration that you purchased bread during those years. In this video, I'll explain how much you can get and walk you step by step through the claim process. Don't let them keep your money. Because here's the story of why this payout exists in the first place. The hidden bread scandal. They didn't want you to know. For years, Canadians were paying more for something as basic as bread, without realizing why. This was not just a few cents here and there. Investigators later found that the alleged price-fixing scheme raised the cost of loaves, buns, wraps, bagels, and other packaged bread products by up to $1.50 each. Spread across weekly trips for school lunches, family meals, and everyday essentials, that meant hundreds, even thousands, of extra dollars drained from households over more than a decade. Families thought rising prices were just inflation at work, but the reality was far more calculated. The scheme allegedly ran between 2001 and 2015, with some effects carrying forward until 2017. Major players in the bread market, both manufacturers and grocers, coordinated price hikes so consumers could not escape paying more. One pattern uncovered was nicknamed the 7/10 Convention, where wholesale prices went up by 7 cents, and retail prices followed with a 10-cent increase. It was small enough to avoid alarm, but repeated often enough to guarantee significant extra profit as millions of Canadians bought these staples week after week. Why take the risk? Because bread is one of the most reliable items in a shopping cart. Companies knew families would keep buying no matter what. That dependability turned minor increases into guaranteed revenue on a massive scale. Over time, what looked like a harmless bump at the checkout line became one of the most damaging competition conspiracies in Canadian history. It was not until 2015 that Loblaw and George Weston admitted involvement to the Competition Bureau. Even then, the public remained unaware for another 2 years, while higher bread prices lingered. The disclosure wasn't made public until 2017, after raids and investigations forced the issue open. By then, Canadians had already been paying artificially inflated bread prices for well over a decade, without ever knowing the real cause. Accountability came slowly. In 2023, Canada Bread pleaded guilty to 4 counts of price fixing under the Competition Act, and was fined $50 million, the largest penalty for this type of offense ever issued by a Canadian court. That fine went to the government, not to consumers, but it reinforced that this was not speculation or rumor. It was deliberate manipulation confirmed as illegal by law. The civil cases that followed pushed beyond fines and aimed at restitution. The Ontario Superior Court of Justice, overseen by Justice Edward Morgan, approved a $500 million class action settlement. The Superior Court of Quebec approved its own parallel settlement to cover consumers in that province. Together, they created a fund designed to pay back Canadians who, for years, unknowingly bore the cost of corporate collusion at the grocery store. These approvals validated the case and ensured that the payout process moving forward was legitimate and enforceable. Think about what that means on a personal level. Every time you noticed bread creeping up in cost, every time your grocery bill felt heavier, this scheme was in play. Essentials like rolls for dinner, tortillas for tacos, or English muffins for breakfast carried hidden markups. Now a fund is set aside to begin repaying households that endured those inflated costs. The question that matters now is not whether price fixing really happened. That's settled in the courts. The real question is what you can do today to make sure some of that money makes its way back into your pocket. How to claim your share before it's too late. So let's talk about how you actually claim your share of the settlement before time runs out. The process is open now, and it has been designed to be simple enough that anyone can do it. You don't need stacks of paperwork, and you don't need to go searching for receipts from 20 years ago. The eligibility rules are straightforward. If you bought packaged bread in Canada between January 1st, 2001 and December 31st, 2021, you are covered. That includes bagged loaves, buns, rolls, tortillas, pita, naan, English muffins, wraps, bagels, essentially any packaged bread product sold during that time. These purchases don't have to be from a specific store or chain. Whether you shopped at a major grocery brand or a neighborhood discount market, it counts. A big question people have is proof. The claims process does not require old receipts, since no one keeps decade-old grocery bills. Instead, you complete a sworn declaration saying that you did buy bread in that period. That confirmation is all that's needed. Another concern is about legitimacy. There are only two official websites to file: CanadianBreadSettlement.ca for residents outside Quebec, and QuebecBreadSettlement.ca for those living in Quebec as of December 31st, 2021. If you used the 2017 Loblaw card program, you can still file, but the amount you receive will work differently, which I'll explain in a moment. The settlement fund itself consists of $404 million in cash provided by Loblaw and George Weston, combined with $96 million accounted for through the earlier Loblaw gift card program. Together, that makes up the $500 million restitution fund. The courts divided the money into two groups, one class for Quebec and one for the rest of Canada. After legal fees and expenses are deducted, about 78% of the net funds are allocated to Ontario and the rest of Canada, while about 22% goes to Quebec residents. That distribution mirrors how much bread was sold in each region, so people in Ontario and the rest of Canada can expect slightly larger per-person payouts. So how much might you actually get? If you didn't previously receive the $25 Loblaw gift card, you could receive up to $25 from this settlement. If you did take that gift card years ago, you're still eligible to make a claim, but you'll only receive additional money if there are enough funds left over and if your share adds up to more than $5. That threshold ensures that people aren't issued very small amounts that cost more to process than they're worth. It also means that some who already received the card may not receive anything, depending on how many claims are filed and how the final distribution is calculated. There's one important expectation to set: payments will not appear instantly. Once the claims window closes in December 2025, the administrators still need time to review, calculate, and issue distributions. Lawyers involved in the case have already said this process could take several months. So if you file now, don't panic if you don't see money right away. It will come in due course. The deadline is firm, December 12, 2025. Submissions after that date are not accepted, and any unclaimed portion stays with the corporations. To avoid that outcome, file today at CanadianBreadSettlement.ca or QuebecBreadSettlement.ca, whichever applies to your province. Don't wait until the last minute. The form takes only a few minutes to complete, and the settlement is legitimate. It's not a gimmick, it's not a scam, and it doesn't require you to upload private records. Millions of dollars are set aside specifically for consumers, and filing ensures at least some of that money is returned to households instead of lost. Taking a few minutes now ensures your claim is on record and processed when distributions begin. And remember, this isn't just about filling out a form. It's about what the payout represents and why the settlement was created in the first place. Conclusion: this settlement is worth $500 million, and it covers anyone who bought packaged bread in Canada between January 1st, 2001 and December 31st, 2021. The deadline to submit your claim is December 12, 2025, and you must file through the official sites, CanadianBreadSettlement.ca or QuebecBreadSettlement.ca. The claims process has only recently opened, and once it closes, distribution could still take several months, so don't expect payment right away. What matters now is that you secure your share before time runs out. File today, tell family and friends, and share this video. If you want more videos that explain how to get what you're owed, subscribe. Right now, you have the chance to reclaim some of what you overpaid. Don't miss it.